So, I got a few things I want to talk about tonight. I guess first off, before I get into any lists or anything like that, what I'm going to do is just basically discuss a couple of things that went on, kind of like in horror and geek type of stuff that interests me. I'll get that out of the way first, and if anybody comes in, I'll have the boring part out of the way. So, and if you're watching from the beginning, then there's some cool lists and stuff coming up, so keep watching. Anyway, I want to talk about the recent cancellation of Iron Fist, and whoops, something bothered me there. Even more, the recent cancellation of Luke Cage, which to me was probably one of the best things that the Marvel Netflix thing did. I actually enjoyed that probably more than most of the other shows that they put out. So that's really surprising. Some people think that that's happening because the Disney streaming service is going on, and there's, you know, they're going to do like a Heroes for Hire type of thing over in Disney. I'm not quite sure if it's that cut and dry though, because how exactly do the rights work? Now, obviously Jessica Jones is still on the go, right? And Luke Cage was a part of Jessica Jones, so maybe with Jessica Jones still on the go, having them, and Daredevil too, maybe they can be signed up to go on episodes of the other shows like Daredevil or Luke Cage. Hey Rich, how's it going? I'm going to get into some horror stuff, but actually there's a couple of things I want to mention. So I don't think it's going to be that easy. It's like, oh, we're going to get a Heroes for Hire show on the streaming service. I think more than likely what's going to happen is they're going to, as long as Netflix got the rights, they're probably going to put them out on like episodes of the other show to get like, hey, so did you watch 4 or 5 yet, man? Or you just got it, so you haven't got a chance to watch yet. I'm drinking Barks tonight, in case anybody wonders. The bubbly I'll be getting soon as I can find some. Because I honestly, as much as I don't mind drinking root beer, when I'm making a video, I prefer the bubbly. I like the sparkling water. So I'm a sparkling water fan now. It happened. Now the big news, I guess, for horror is that Halloween. Just watched The Lure. Still to watch. I heard The Lure is good. I haven't seen it yet. That's the one I'm thinking of. Halloween just broke records, like crazy. Halloween is like obviously the highest grossing slasher of all time right now. I haven't got to see it yet myself, so please don't spoil it for me. And it's the highest Blumhouse production, the highest movie in the franchise, the highest slasher movie of all time, the second highest opening in October ever. So that's pretty huge. So what does that mean exactly for for movies in the future? Well, what I think is going to happen, if I was to guess, Hollywood kind of likes to jump on stuff like this, and they're going to notice. A $10 million movie breaking in over $77 million and change, opening weekend, and in October, that's gonna get some notice. And what I think we're gonna get to see out of this, what my thoughts are. I'd like to know yours as well. Actually, yes, I was going to mention that was my next thing I was going to mention, but I'll mention that in a second because I do have thoughts on that. Is that what we're going to get is we're going to see a lot of not just like remakes or reboots or sequels, but I think we're going to start to see Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back, and this is something. Hey Tommy, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing well there. We could see like a revitalization of the 80s Scream Queen, which would be kind of cool. So like, can you imagine like if they take, like for instance, if they want to go with the new Friday the 13th, like just LeBron James, could be producing that, and just take Adrienne King now, and have her or Amy Steele, for instance, because like just in case there's issues with the first film because of the Victor Miller thing, what about bringing Amy Steele back for a future Friday the 13th, kind of continuing it on from the Jason that we meet in part 2, because there's absolutely nothing that Victor Miller could do about that. They could even like take it off from part 3, and because part 3 isn't set at Crystal Lake, has Jason as we know him now, hockey mask Jason, that hockey mask killer guy, has a bit of a different background to him because he's, he does things in the third one that he doesn't do in the first two, and he would never really do again. Like there's the alleged kind of like sexual assault on the main character. Maybe have her play Miss. She'd be one. I think Adrienne King's actually very attractive still to this day, and she will be like really sexy Mrs. Voorhees for me. That's my thoughts on it. And as for LeBron James, there's been some some uproar and some kind of controversy about LeBron James producing Friday the 13th, and I don't get that. So I don't see why a guy that's obviously likes the series, has some money, wants to produce it and get a new one out there, why there'd be any kind of controversy over that, unless it's because it's LeBron James. And then you got to ask yourself, and so like, are some people upset because they don't like LeBron James as a basketball player and they don't think he can actually produce a movie, even though it's just producing the film? Or maybe there's a little bit more because, yeah, because the race card could come into it, which is a shame if it is. I hope to God that's not what people are thinking when they hear the LeBron James news. Hope that they're just excited that somebody with some clout and some money can come and bring one of our favorite franchises, or one of my favorite franchises, back in the scene again. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting. Is he from wherever you live, LeBron James? Are you a LeBron James fan? See, I don't watch as much my better half. She's more of a basketball fan than me. She would have like the $300 sneakers and stuff back in the day. That's a big of a fan she was. She used to get a spoiled too, I'll tell you, because there's no way in hell I'd get $300 sneakers because they were from basketball players. But her family, yeah, they got her that. But are you a fan, Rich? I don't know a lot. I know LeBron James, and I've seen a few games, but I've never been really a follower of basketball. Not that I don't like it. I've liked every game that I've ever watched, and I did play a lot of the video games. Basketball it's just that getting into the sport when I have so much that I'm into, that, you know, I was a hockey. I'm from Canada, so I was a hockey kid growing up. I was a hockey brat, right? I was out on the ice. I couldn't skate very well. They popped me in the net. Bam! There's pucks flying like all over at me. Hey, you, how you doing? And yeah, I got a kitty cat here, don't I? Went in last night. I went to go to sleep, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep early. And I get in bed, and all of a sudden there's this like little nose like nudging me to pet him. So I'm like petting him as I'm half asleep. And as I wake up, like he's like sprawled out. He's like laid down right beside me, protecting me in the night. So what I thought would be kind of interesting to talk about right now is no, not the movies. Is that what do you think is coming back next? Obviously, Friday the 13th is a thought. So I grabbed a couple here that I think could be prime for like a sequel or a reboot or a remake, and some that have been done before, and a couple I chose for specific reasons. So I think a good idea is to remake something that probably is a little bit underappreciated, may not be known as well, that they can do some stuff with. And when it comes to like fun, batshit crazy slasher films, I think Happy Birthday to Me is a pretty good choice for something that that could easily be remade and just go just a bit farther. Obviously, Happy Birthday to Me was originally probably best known for the fact that it had the girl from Little House on the Prairie in a slasher film. But even more so than that, if you're a fan of like slashers and horror, this here poster was a poster art for Happy Birthday to Me if you went to see it in theater, or if you opened up your newspaper. And it was pretty controversial, this here poster art was in the time. I remember opening up my my Toronto Sun and seeing the art in for this when you had all the posters in the movie section what was playing in the theater. And I actually cut it out as a kid. I thought it was so cool, and I wanted to see this, and I can imagine just how horrific this is going to be with this skewer death. So I think this is something that would be prime to be remade, to be redone. I think it will, actually. Now, Robert Englund did say after making the Goldbergs that he said, whether he was joking or just, you know, egging on people, he said he might have one more good Nightmare on Elm Street left in him. So, you know, take that as it is. Obviously, that has a lot to come. You know, he's on a half-hour show. You know, he's definitely getting up there. But nobody can play like Freddy Krueger the way that he can. I don't think, anyway. But do I think that this is going to stop them from like using doing another Nightmare on Elm Street movie down the road? No, not at all. I think for sure that's a given. Eventually, we're going to get another Nightmare on Elm Street, whether Robert Englund can come back and play him or not. Whether it'll be good is another story. What they might try to do is they might try and like pull from the well that is Halloween now, and maybe bring back Heather Langenkamp, because we can take the Final Girl again and bring her back, because in a way, you know, aside from like we had the Dream Warrior sequel, Heather Langenkamp really, when you think about it, if they just say they want to do it what Halloween did and just take it from the first one, just go from there, and where it is such a unique dream universe, different realities, different timelines, wouldn't that be that big of a deal? After all, we did get New Nightmare, which did have a very different and kind of Freddy, kind of not Freddy in the movie with Robert Englund, the Dream Demon type character. But that would be kind of interesting to see how it goes. But I do think, anybody here that have thoughts on Happy Birthday to Me? Now this is the Indicator edition. Not only did I want to show some movies that I think that could probably get the remake or may get it down the road, but I wanted to show some cool additions as well. And if you do not yet have this one, I definitely recommend it. This was a dual disc edition, and they did give it like the big booklet, like huge booklet for this one. It's a really fun film too, I gotta say. Double covers and all that type of stuff. But the double cover for like this Indicator one really is just like it's this here, but it's got the Indicator logo and the this here taken off it. But again, excellent addition. Another one that probably could easily be redone, and because a lot of people were not happy with the original remake of this, and I'll show you the original remake rather than bring over my Synapse edition. I probably could have done that actually. But that is Prom Night. Now the original Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. There's another one with Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't think she would do that one, but it will be a neat idea to bring Prom Night back, and they could do they could either do with the Mystery Killer, or I don't think they go with the Mary Lou thing, because the supernatural thing doesn't seem to be what's on the go right now. It's the slasher thing. So Prom Night, definitely something that could come back, as could Terror Train. Terror Train was another fantastic little slasher film from the 1980s that definitely went under-recognized back in the day, that a lot of people still remember and remember fondly. People remember the original Prom Night fondly. Not many people remember this one here. Though I was probably one of the only fans of this movie. This is a pretty bloodless slasher film. I always took it as kind of like being the type of film that was put in there to like as a gateway drug to get like kids into like some younger kids into slashers, and let them see like kind of what it is before they really get into like the real hardcore slasher stuff and they find it a bit Savani and all the cool stuff like that. So that would have been my thought with that. My God, you guys are quiet tonight. It's kind of bothersome, really. Am I boring you so far? Next up, and this one could easily be brought back. We still have the actress around for it. And there was recently a TV series. Unfortunately, it didn't last long enough, and I personally really liked the show. I got to get I think are the seasons out? I'm not sure, but if they are, I got to get them. But The Exorcist, we still have Linda Blair around as a Scream Queen. And of course, when you think of Linda Blair, you've also got, of course, Hell Night, which easily could be remade, and that was quite a kind of cool film, and with a really great premise and some nice twists to it, especially at the end. But The Exorcist, maybe not so quickly, because the TV show just came and went sort of, but there's a difference in a TV show and actually bringing it out as a feature film. So I think somewhere or another, trying to think who's bringing back, I think Linda Blair would be a good Scream Queen for us to see back again in the kind of like in the basically in the midst of things. And the last one that I thought of tonight, and there's more that I thought of. One that I thought about, Night of the Demons would be good. Yeah, and they did do Night of the Demons, but it would be another good one to bring back. Now, but Rich, would that work along this slasher thing? Now, it can work along like the Final Girls thing. Still haven't seen the original Exorcist? Or do you mean like the TV series? If you haven't seen the original Exorcist, it's a great one. I do recommend watching it either, if you're not going to watch that on Halloween, then watching it around Christmas time, because Exorcist originally came out at Christmas, and I think that's part of the lure of the movie The Exorcist originally, was that it came out at a very Christian time of year and dealing in the things that it was dealing with. It definitely added a bit more of like a bit more of the scare aspect to it. I think it was very smart to put out The Exorcist when they did. We're talking about like a demon possession film steeped very much in Catholicism, and coming out at Christmas time. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not, but it's actually pretty genius. So if you're not going to watch The Exorcist anytime soon, Tummy Films, I'd say watch it around Christmas time. And, you know, it's a fun little Christmas film. There you go. I think My Bloody Valentine, which they did do a remake of, whether they want to go off from that remake or just spin off and do its own thing again, My Bloody Valentine is another one that they could actually bring back. You never know, like sometime, but you haven't seen it, and that's kind of a cool thing, Tommy, because now you get to see it for the, doesn't matter what other things you've heard about it, or you're getting it to see with fresh eyes for the first time. There is so many films that I would love to see over again and be able to see it through eyes the way that you're seeing it and seeing it now. So it's going to be pretty incredible. I do recommend kind of a Christmassy viewing for Exorcist. But you know, you don't have to go with me on that. But that's when it originally came out. Just so you know. One that watched the original before the extended cut. Yeah, Rich, I got to agree with you there. Though this spider walk freaks me out, man. But yeah, definitely watch the original first. Here's a movie that deserves either to get a decent sequel or a remake that's not crap, and that is Black Christmas. Now, I wanted to put Black Christmas on this list because, you know, this is my favorite film. And I do talk about this movie a lot, and I talk about this edition that I got. Now, most people I know got the Scream Factory edition of Black Christmas, but I thought I'd show off. This is the Canadian edition of Black Christmas, the Seasons Grievings edition. And I'd open it up, show you guys exactly what this one is like, because some people have asked me about this. So it does have a different cover on the inside than the slip. And this is the cover art for the Canadian edition of Black Christmas. Your favorite slasher? Mine too, Tom. And my favorite film, actually. Probably one of the most influential films for me, and it's hands down one of the big reasons that I'm here doing what I'm doing right now tonight, and why I'm collecting films in the first place. So this is the cover art for the Canadian edition, and I really do like this. I actually prefer this cover art to what we had for the Scream Factory edition, which is a really nice cover art as well, but I just prefer this one. A neat little feature, a Silent remake would fit in. Yeah, I did like the last Silent Night film. I can't lie, I thought that was really, really good. But a decent, like a Silent Night Deadly Night one that maybe takes on the same story of the original would be really, really, really cool to do. I would be all for that. I'm a huge Christmas horror fan. Now this also came with the with Black Christmas. This is a little Rue Morgue magazine just about Black Christmas, and to let you know the features on the back of it here, and it is actually, you know, late Bob Clark right there. Black Christmas is probably the most influential horror movie to me, period. Black Christmas is my Citizen Kane of horror, and I cannot deny that at all. But those are some choices that I had. I just really wanted to show Black Christmas, and the whole list came from wanting to show Black Christmas because I got asked through and through 4 times recently if I'd show the Canadian edition of that. So if you're coming in late and you, I just showed the Canadian edition of Black Christmas, so there, that's what you asked for. I aim to please. But yeah, there's so many good ones that are out there that they could do or they could redo. I kind of almost would like to see some other stuff come out of this. I hope that Hollywood is going to get like some of those like Scream Queens, like Adrienne King, like Linda Blair, like Amy Steele, get them back. Like see Jaws remade. That's kind of, I don't mind seeing Jaws remade, but I don't know if they could really do it right now. We've had the shark craze, and they've gone so silly with the Sharknado and like the 3-headed sharks and Jersey Shore shark and all this type of stuff that they've almost diluted it too much to see like a proper Jaws movie. to a lot of people that watched a lot of these sci-fi things, and I never grew up on Jaws or got to see that, just what a good film it was. And Jaws is not just a good like shark film; it's a good buddy film. This, you know, kind of a bromance type of thing going on. There's a good solidness behind Jaws, but being remade now, it runs the risk of becoming just another shark film. We're getting lost in the sea of like of shark films, if you know what I mean. That pun was intended. I don't know if I've seen The Sand. Is that a slasher? But no, there's obviously, I'm excited to see, like, I hope that they get the money to work out on like a Friday the 13th film. It really should be done. This should be like, if Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham never had any at other like ideas of like figuring out this whole lawsuit thing, this should be like the kick in the pants that they both need to get this thing figured out stat, because they both can make a lot of money on this if they can just make a deal together. LeBron obviously has the money behind him to do something like that, and it'd be nice to see like a new Friday the 13th film come out, hopefully in the near future, so it can ride this this wave of like kind of like the slasher resurgence, which I kind of expect to see. But I kind of expect to see a Scream Queen resurgence as well, and it's kind of neat to see that. It's fun. I'll check it out. Actually, I've got a lot that I got to check out recently. I'm so behind on stuff, and I still haven't seen The Haunting of Hill House, and I hear that's really, really good. And I'll eventually get to Daredevil Season 3, probably not anytime in the near future. I'm actually really excited about the Del Toro like stop motion Pinocchio that's going to be made for Netflix. That has me written all over it. I'm a huge Harryhausen fan. I love stop motion animation. I love the movies of Del Toro. And it's going to be set in the 1930s. It's going to be stop motion. It's going to be dealing like around the time of fascism. So it's going to be like a more adult, kind of almost a horrific, I think, like a Pinocchio film that we're going to get out of Del Toro. That's kind of what you expect from him. And it also like kind of puts Netflix on just another level with the stuff that they're putting out right now. So hopefully Netflix will start doing more like theater deals. I know that a lot of these films are premiering on Netflix, and they see like more theater overseas than they do here in North America, for instance. But it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out, and what we're going to see with Netflix down the road. I'm actually really, really curious about the Del Toro one. It's definitely dark, yeah. That's the thing. And 1930s fascism, Pinocchio sounds really freaking good. Del Toro is the guy. If you told me anybody else was doing this, I would be iffy. But knowing that Del Toro's doing this, knowing that it's going to be stop motion animation, this could be good. This could be really creepy. This could be horror. Because for me, there was the original Disney version of Pinocchio pretty much was, in a way, kind of kids horror film. From like the look what happens when you tell lies to the boys on the island, and that horrific like turning to the donkey scene that's just shown in shadows, which is very, very much like a throwback to like German expressionism filmmaking. It's just incredibly horrific. Disney was famous for like putting like horrifically horrid things that would induce nightmares into a lot of its original films, but none more so for me than Pinocchio. There was just the artwork was gorgeous, but it was devastatingly frightening. And I think that Del Toro is the one person I think can actually take it up and do a lot more with this. But that's definitely mine. Hey, Reality, thank you for coming in. We just talked a bit about like the Halloween, how well it did. We talked about like some other slasher films that could be made because of this. The LeBron James possibility for Friday the 13th. I'm positive on that. Like that's a positive for me. And we just talked about Del Toro's version of stop motion animation version of Pinocchio that's going to be made for Netflix, that Amazon was supposed to do, but they lost out on. You saw it? Don't give me any spoilers, but just tell me, did you like it or not? Is it a thumbs up for you? It was good. Okay. I expect it to be good. I expect the only people that are really going to be disappointed with Halloween are people that are putting too much on the shoulders of what this movie is going to be. It's still a Halloween film. It's still like a slasher film. And it's still a sequel to one of the, yeah, exactly. I don't expect this movie not to have problems, not to have some issues. But I do think that some people are going to get more caught up with the problems than others will. They're going to expect too much of this. And I don't think you should go in, like obviously this thing was hyped like crazy, but I don't think we should go in with over-hyped expectations for the film. I think it's something that's definitely finding its audience. It's doing really well. Hope there's not too much for drop off next week. That's when I'm going to go see the film. So I'll actually be putting my money towards the second week of the movie. So my dollars will be in that one, because I do want to see this have some legs. I don't want to see it have like do a Friday the 13th reboot where it does a baffle box office on the first week and then has a humongous drop off in the second week. I think that oh yeah, like no film is perfect. Well, Black Christmas for me, but you know, everything has this like, no, for me, like Black Christmas, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween really are actually three of my like near perfect films for me. I think one of the most perfect slasher films I saw, you know, out there, like that did it right, was I loved like Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3 because I thought that they really kind of like got what a slasher film would be down pat. Of course, we'd get some great stuff like the Burning and the Prowler coming out, and just so many good like slasher films. And of course, in 1984, just as a slasher film is dwindling down, Nightmare on Elm Street would bring that back up again and get like it would go on out and would drag on until probably around like 88, 89, where we're just getting like the long the tooth of the slasher films. But we get a slight resurgence with Halloween 4. Scream, definitely. Scream would bring it back up there. But that wouldn't be till the 90s that we'd actually get to see the slasher film come back again with Scream. Though for me, that era of slasher film, and this is one that not a lot of people love, but I do, and it's Valentine. It's a very cheesy film, but Valentine is more steeped in what the 80s slasher film was than Scream could ever be. Scream was a better film, and it was a more meta film, and it was a more modern slasher film, but Valentine was definitely a film that was stuck back in the 80s. I can't wait, reality. I just really cannot wait to see it happen. I'm going to be so stoked to go in and see this film. I got to like keep my expectations down because I want to go in and enjoy it for the film that it is, and you know, the sequel to the first one. It's a different, you know, we got different cast. We got Jamie Lee Curtis back. That's neat. I hear there's no Ben Tramer. The missing, that's something that they should have like done. Like, come on, give Ben Tramer give him his due, man. Let's finally see Ben Tramer alive and well and not getting killed off. Obviously, with this type of money, we're going to see a sequel to Halloween. It has already been mentioned that there was always a sequel in works for Halloween, that this was planned with 2 pictures in mind. So that was something that they let us know early on, but they wanted to see how the movie was going to do. It did extremely well. Jason Blum hopefully now is going to, yeah, we know he's going to make another film. And if LeBron does not get the rights to Friday the 13th to make a film, then you know that Jason Blum is going to be looking for the rights to that film. Jason Blum right now, seeing this, he's got it down pat. You make a film, you make it like inexpensive, you max it out at $10 million. Do it horror. Horror has a built-in audience. With Halloween, you've got an even more of a built-in audience. Yeah, see, this is right now when the money dispute should be settled, because they should see the mega bucks that's going to be involved with Friday the 13th to get it out. Now, I hope that there's a script that's already been in the works, because I don't see them waiting to 2021. I really don't. I think that if they do this, they will jump on it, and they will go out and they will grab it and make it as quickly as possible, but I want them to make a good film. So I don't want them to rush it too much and make a crappy film, and then we're going to see, like, you know, it slowly fall off because we're going to see like a glut of this stuff. kind of like in the 90s when comic books became really big, and then everybody had a comic book, and the comic companies just came out of nowhere, and everything was ultra expensive, was coming in late. They all had chromium covers and 9 covers and stuff like that. How much do I think Halloween will gross worldwide? Well, the real test for Halloween is going to be the second week. The first week we knew we were going to get a lot of people in. We knew we were going to get a lot of money. Ooh, I would love to see that type of. I hope to see some big numbers. I want to see how. This is what. It may seem petty. I just want to see it really, really beat the rest, especially certain reboots. I wanted to see it beat out reboots that I really didn't like, really wasn't a fan of. I wanted to see it beat out the Rob Zombie ones. I wanted to see it beat out the Nightmare on Elm Street one, and I definitely wanted to see it beat out stuff that's already beaten out, like Black Christmas, stuff like that. So I do think it's going to do really well, and I don't know what's coming out next week. I don't think there's anything really big coming out. I do think that this movie has the potential to have legs, and worldwide we're going to see it's already made way back more than its budget, but if we can get at least a couple more really good, really solid weeks like this, and then with its international gross as well, it is the biggest hit that the Blumhouse has had, and it's definitely going to be the biggest hit that they may have for a while unless they get into another franchise. And I have no doubt that Jason Blum is already looking at and in negotiations with some other film franchises, because that this is something that he really wants to do. He has a pattern down. He has a set way to go with these films, and it is really genius. Halloween, see that is genius. Like, they bring it out the week before, and then that's a testing week. That's a start week. So everybody wants to see it then. I don't know if I'll see it in theater. Now, I do really want to see Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm a huge Queen fan. And I didn't originally. I was nervous about Bohemian Rhapsody because I was worried that they'd gloss over stuff and that they wouldn't deal with certain aspects of Freddie Mercury's life. But I'm a huge fan of the music. I'm a huge fan of Freddie Mercury. I was devastated when he passed, to be honest with you. And nobody has a voice like he has. So that's why Queen without him did not work. But yeah, kind of like yeah, I know most of it is a genius time to do it. Like, they put it out the week, you got it the week before, so you're going to get the people in. People are going to go in. They're going to want to see. Oh, that's going to be a nice Myers figure, Rich. That's going to be a really nice figure, because I've seen the look and I've seen the mask and it looks incredible. My record store, actually brought in the Part 5 Friday the 13th figure, and if anybody knows me, they know that I'm a huge fan of Friday the 13th: A New Beginning, and I so want Part 5 of that so much. I've actually even I have my first tattoo that I want planned out. It's going to be a phoenix, and that's always since I've been in college. That's always been what it's going to be. I just haven't got around to getting it yet. But if I ever get a second tattoo, I'm getting the Jason mask, but it's not going to be Jason. It's going to be the Roy Jason mask with the blue chevrons on it. So there, I'm marching to the beat of a different drummer with my Jason tattoo that I eventually want to get. That's my thoughts on that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to those NECA figures. I would love to have the mask as well. I don't have a Michael Myers mask. Oh, really? I had no idea. My better half might. I don't think that I guess I got a chance, but I don't think I had much of a chance. So I don't know. But and I never want. It's got to be. I always wonder how it works. I know in the U.S. I think that. Hey, Sculptor, how's it going? Oh, Tommy, it's great to have you in here, and hopefully I'll see you in here again next time. And feel free to talk. I always enjoy it when you do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the NECA figure. I think the NECA is quality, and they put out some really great stuff. I think now's a really great time for Todd McFarlane to be bringing back his figures. So it's really good that we're going to see the McFarlane line of like toys, action figures, whatever you want to call it, come back out there. This is a perfect time. NECA has really gotten the market really well. Obviously, Todd McFarlane, it's a toy production company, was the one that actually, I think in a lot of cases, really started this line of horror action figures that came out and really brought it to a new level. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. And what franchises that he has under his belt right now. Because I did hear that Todd McFarlane is going to be like producing more. An Ultimate Chucky Tiffany set. Is that NECA or McFarlane Toys? I'm guessing that's NECA, right? I've always had like obviously the Tiffany character, because huge fan of I'm a huge fan of the Child's Play series. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go. We got like two diverging Child's Play things going on right now. One being the TV series by Mancini, and the reboot film that I don't want to say like anything bad about, because I don't know anything about it, except that the doll didn't impress me, but I saw very little of it. It was just like an early mock-up. It'll be interesting to see how they go with the new Child's Play series. It's going to be weird hearing Chucky's voice and not having Brad Dourif voicing it, and it'll be interesting to see how they take it, because with somebody else doing the voice of Chucky, you've got to wonder if this person is going to be kind of like doing what Brad Dourif does, or is he really going to go and do his own thing? And if he does, what's the reaction going to be? It's a fine line to walk to be the next voice of Chucky on the big screen, because you don't want to be accused of just going out and copying everything that Brad Dourif did, but then you're also not going to be accused of making it too much your own, so that it doesn't seem like the character of Chucky in the first place. It's a really weird place to be, and it'll be interesting to see how how that plays out once they actually do get the Child's Play film. Once we see more production on it, and we find out once they announce whose voice is being cast for the role of Chucky in the new Child's Play reboot. And I don't know if they have yet. If they have, I'm very much not aware of it. But who would you get for the voice of Chucky, really? Who can go with Brad Dourif? Who can top Brad Dourif? They stick to them and make a new film to compete with the remake? I don't know if they can. That's the thing. I think that, and after watching like Curse and Cult of Chucky, I can really see more than I ever could before exactly how well this could be done if they do it as a serialized TV series. Because to me, by the time I watched Cult didn't seem finished. Well, I liked Cult. I really did like Cult. A lot of people didn't, but I did enjoy it. But it seemed like it was a pilot to something that should be ongoing. And I think that's what we're going to see. I hope that they do it, and they do it right, you know, give it like 10, 12 episodes type of thing. So that way they can put like more budget into each episode and not like spawn it out over like a 22 episode type of thing. I think like a horror series, you should be looking to anywhere between like 10 to 13 episodes. It should be like your max point for something like that. Now, the thing is that they're still competing with Child's Play, except they're doing it on a different level. Everybody's going to have their thoughts on this, on whoever comes in to do it. You have a cast script from Cult? So, like, did everybody sign it? Like, did Fiona and, like, Brad and all those? Fiona actually had a part in the, and I've only seen the first 3 or 4 episodes of it. I got to watch the rest of the new Purge series. Oh, that is sweet, Rich. How did you come across that? Was that at a convention? Because that is an awesome, awesome thing. Eventually, I want to get like one of those big Chucky dolls. So that's something that I'm thinking about grabbing down the road. Oh, you want it from Voodoo? Voodoo, that's like Walmart's owned like a streaming service, right? I know it used to be on its own, but I think Walmart owns Voodoo now. That's what I heard. Somebody can look that up. Make sure I'm telling the truth. But no, I heard that. That's cool because, and that's really strange because Walmart is like a super like Christian organization. So that the fact that Voodoo did like this cut one. Oh man, I had such a crush. Oh really? On like on Christine Elise, I really did. She was the coolest. And like part 2 is one of my I think it's my favorite. Yes, my favorite of the Child's Play films. To be honest with you. So they bought it, but it's separately ran. Now, do you think that they're going to put more, like with Pure Flix and the popularity of that? Think that maybe they'd ever do that? How far away is my nearest Walmart? 3 minutes. Literally, I work in the same building that Walmart's in. About 3 minutes. With the popularity of the way streaming services are going, Rich, though, I think that Walmart will definitely get somebody in there to look at what's being done with Vudu, especially if they want to go and actually make it streaming. If they do go and like take Vudu into that aspect of it, want to make it their next Netflix type of thing, and everything wants to be the next Netflix now. Now my Walmart's pretty small. Now that being said, I did manage to get my those Funko ones out there. Yeah, I do, and we don't have a lot there, but I'm always checking. I was the first person to see the Halloween bin when it came out. I was the first person to see and buy any of the Funko Blu-rays that came out with the horror ones. And tomorrow, I think there's the only real big release coming out tomorrow, and it's not horror related, but for anybody that's interested in this type of stuff, if you like animation, is probably because I know there's a Scorpion King thing and all that type of stuff. But I guess the big one that I'd say is probably Celebrating Mickey, which is like the first, like Disney's first, like I think Blu-ray, like original animated shorts that they're going to do. So basically it's old Mickey shorts that have been remastered for Blu-ray. 14, it's going to be pretty cheap, like 20 bucks, something like that. So should be interesting to see. Since I spent a fortune on these here tins. I've never used Vudu, probably because I don't really use a lot of like digital stuff. For a lot of the films I have, unless she wants the digital code, I just usually pass it off to my cousin or to my kids. Oh, more into that stuff. I'm more old school. I kind of like it's the best service. See, for me, streaming wise, well, I'll watch the Netflix shows that I like. I'm watching like Riverdale and Sabrina on there, stuff like that. I'm more of a physical guy. As far as like an actual streaming service that I out and out like support, that's definitely Shudder. That's my favorite. I'm a huge horror fan, and they have like exclusives that I can't see elsewhere. Oh, digital, not streaming. I'll be honest with you, Rich, I really don't know a lot when it comes to the digital aspect of it. There's iTunes. My cousin is a huge Apple fan, so almost everything that he got, he's got a lot of iTunes stuff. He rents a lot of like movies and buys a lot. But the thing with him too is he likes physical as well. So what he does normally is he'll buy the series. He's not the type of person who'll never download something, never torrent, never did in his life, actually never has. He'll buy something, he'll buy the complete series of something, and then he'll use Handbrake and rip it to there. Hulu, out of all those, Hulu was my favorite. I got the Fire Stick. I do like that. And I like it. What I watch it for is going to seem kind of silly, but I like a lot of the, like I watch Shudder on there, and I like the old cartoons. I watch the old cartoons. Oh yeah, no, that is, I definitely agree. Taking digital where you go, that's the type of thing. And I actually got a little projector, like a hummingbird projector tonight. We bought one of those because they were super cheap. They're not great projectors. Just to have one, like we got it for like for Halloween for putting the atmosphere effects things up in the windows to freak out the kids and stuff like that. Hen wants to go with the tame stuff. I want to go with like the slashers, cutting people's heads off type of thing. But yeah, definitely. I mean, like I have nothing against digital as an on-the-go thing. I just don't want to see people using it to replace physical media at all. For me, I guess when I take something on the go, it's one of two things. It's either I have an Apple TV that was given to me by my cousin around a couple years ago, and that's fantastic. I do have a lot of stuff on there. Like I'll take some of my physical shows and I'll put them on there. Hulu was the best service that I had. Unfortunately, we can't get it here in Canada anymore. There used to be a workaround with I can't say how, but there was a workaround for Hulu for a while. I think we played like 10 or 12. I'm not sure how much it is now. It wasn't expensive, especially for the service. And if you're a TV watcher, especially Hulu was good because basically you would show the show like the next day. And at the time, I was a huge soap opera fan, and two of the shows that I used to watch when I was younger with my grandparents, All My Children and One Life to Live, actually had a comeback on Hulu that only lasted a season. Yeah, I agree. Prime is the best for low budget horror flicks. Prime, remember like Cinemax, like Skinemax? Prime is the modern day streaming equivalent of that for me. When I look at Prime, I see all this kind of cool, cheesy stuff. You get to see this. Here's a rare time you're going to get me actually talking about like some streaming stuff, and I'll give you my thoughts on them as well. For Prime, I see it as almost like the Cinemax of the streaming services. There's like some cool original stuff on there as well, but there is so much like exploitation, some cheap, cheesy horror, some stuff you see on Vinegar Syndrome, some stuff that you just don't see out there now. Yeah, Skinemax. Amazon is the closest we've got right now to Skinemax since the Vinegar Syndrome exploitation TV has shut down. Now, I do think that for TV-wise, I'm going to completely agree with you. Hulu has it for network television. They got it great. Now, that being said, there is a wrench coming in to that, and that is like the Warner Brothers upcoming streaming service. The thing that a lot of people don't get or don't realize is that although a show is like shown on a certain network, could be like CBS or ABC, that show could have been made by like Warner Brothers or another company. It could have been made by a different studio, and if Warner Brothers gets the rights back to a lot of the shows that were made on different networks for them, that could affect Hulu. That could affect CBS Online, of course. It could affect a lot, and it'd be interesting to see how Warner Brothers would do that, because they definitely have the money behind them. Oh yeah, all you need for Hulu is a subscription and a high-speed internet service. And Hulu was one of the best when it comes to actually not dropping. In the early days, it's not something that we worry about so much anymore, like buffering, or I don't know the last time I had to worry about buffering or stuff like that. It's probably when I was in my old house, the one before here, because we had horrible internet, almost dial-up, like version. That's why I didn't see a lot of videos from me there, and you definitely couldn't see like a live video at that point. You already have a smart TV, so you're already halfway there. And one of the neat things that Hulu had, and I wish that I like wrestling. I was really saddened to find out about Roman Reigns tonight. I'm actually one of the few people that was actually a fan of him. I thought he was a good wrestler, and I thought he's got a bad rap. So I was really sad to find out that he's got to take a step back. He's not going to be champion now. Not a storyline. He has leukemia, and so I guess you heard the news too, Rich. So yeah, so he has leukemia. That's something that he has to go and get over. So that's hopefully he does well and gets to come back soon. But let's be realistic and be honest. Leukemia is definitely not the nicest of this version to get of cancers to get out there. So it's going to be it's going to be a rough go for him. But if anybody can do it, big guy, healthy guy, hopefully comes back better than ever. But definitely my thoughts go out to him and his family there, sending positive vibes that way. But yeah, I was really shocked to find out that about Roman Reigns last year. And I'm sorry to hear that, Rich. I lost one of my aunts to cancer as well, to throat cancer, and my grandfather, who raised me, actually to the cancer as well. So that's something that I think has affected everybody that's here in some way or another, and has had a family member, unfortunately, that has that they've lost to that. But that's particularly like for you, where it was leukemia. So it is definitely a hard one. So was my, actually, Rich, so was my aunt, actually, when she found out. She had a kid, she had 2 children, and one was like young at the time, and she didn't care about herself. Her only concern at the time was that who was going to raise her young one. And so it was but yeah, so sad news in the wrestling world tonight. But all right, yes, reality, honestly, for if you're into the TV stuff, Hulu's the way to go. And the reason I mention wrestling actually is that wrestling has a 3-hour-long program, like called Raw, and that's way too long. And Hulu actually cuts it down to a 2-hour length program, which I used to really enjoy about the show. Actually, is that they'd cut it down to what I considered a reasonable length for a wrestling program. And I hope I didn't bring the room down by actually talking about like what went on there. But I thought it was definitely worth mentioning. That just came out tonight. I'm not sure if was it on Raw itself. I'm not sure if I guess it probably would have been mentioned on Raw. Hopefully, yeah. I have the network actually. I never really watched much of it. We watched, like, I used to before I started working where I'm working at now. I work Sundays. Because it's only $9.99, and like just for the pay-per-views. Back in the day, Rich, I paid like $65, $70 for a pay-per-view, and that wasn't even a big one. Like, yeah, and you know exactly what I'm talking about here. If you're a wrestling fan back in the day, if you're watching WCW or ECW, and I remember like my first ECW pay-per-view that I watched, and I was like, "Are you serious? Like they can do this on their pay-per-view?" And it was like there was cursing and there was nudity. You were ringside for Invasion? Oh man. So if I watch Invasion, will I see you there? That was such a missed opportunity. How can you mess that up, WWE? How can you mess up Invasion? But you did. You messed up a biggest storyline in wrestling aside from the NWO. How do you mess that up? Magnificently, apparently. Magnificently large. Taking a storyline that should be going on for years. You're on the camera side? I have never been, like, since I've been young, to an actual, like, real big wrestling event. So when I went, it was around the time that the kind of before pre-Attitude Era, when there'd be like, I guess the Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker's early stuff. How many channels does American Hulu get? All of them that I think about. Like, I mean, they have some really cool channels. They have some like of their own channels. They used to have a. I can't get Hulu now. I used to have it though. They used to have Criterion, actually. They used to have all Criterion. One of the big draws for Hulu at one point for movie fans was to go on there and get, like, watch Criterion. For me, it was like I'd watch Criterion, then I'd automatically want to own it. So a lot of the Criterions in my collection, actually, I watched on Hulu, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely something to grab it. Well, they do sort of have channels, Rich. They have, like, unless they've changed it. Because when you go in there, there's like themed, like where they'll have ABC, and they'll have like a little thing like a Shout Factory thing, and like Pop Flicks, and a bunch of like different stuff. I haven't seen Mayans yet. I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy, so I'll definitely check that out. Actually, Jack, we're not going to believe what we're actually speaking about tonight. We were talking about like horror and Friday the 13th and Halloween, and we actually started talking here about the different streaming services that are out there. Me, the physical media guy, that is 100% physical media, and still is to this day, by the way. It's talking about like the streaming services for the other options out there. So that's been different. The other thing I was going to do on here, and because it is Halloween, one of the smaller collections I have that hasn't been talked about like a lot, oh, CB Kitty, on my channel is my Vestron collection. So I thought I'd quickly go over the Vestrons that I do have because it's one of my smaller horror collections. And a lot of these, if you're watching horror for the month of Halloween, Vestron is kind of like a neat one to go with. Unfortunately, Vestron can be pretty expensive in some places, especially here in Canada. Only 8 days ago, that's true. But like here, especially, Vestrons can cost anywhere up between, for a single movie, between $40 to $50. It's insanely expensive here. So these Vestrons were on sale about a year or so ago when they originally came out, and I got these, but I've not been able to buy Vestron since because it doesn't drop over like the $45 mark. And I appreciate your YouTube watching, especially when you come on my channel. I like that a lot. So first off is Chopping Mall, and I really love this movie. I do, as many of you know that have been on there for a while. This was a movie that I actually gonna watch the Rob Zombie films. Ooh, that's a big watch, dude. Then watch the rest. Now, this is a fun little slasher, kind of slasher, killer robot slasher film. I really do enjoy this film. I at one point wanted to try to get the rights to this film when I wanted to start up my own, like back in the VHS days, wanted to actually start a label, and that was before any of these like genre labels came out. So I guess I was thinking ahead of the time. But and those are 2 hours each, man. Those are 2 hours each. That always blows me away when I say I'm going to give another. I don't want to watch 2 hours of anything, even if I like it. I want to watch like the nice sweet spot of the 98-minute or the 90-minute one. It is actually rich. I don't have that one though, but Chopping Mall definitely. And they have, I like the way these are done. A lot of features. Next up is the one that I was least excited to get, and I do think it's their least one, but it was extremely cheap at the time. It's an okay film. It's a fun little film, but it's definitely not something that I would pay $30 or $40 for if you get it like fairly cheap. It's a decent watch, and that is Blood Diner. They don't include the sequels. That's a rip. I do too, actually. I like the first one. I can actually watch the first one. There's certain aspects of it I like, but I find that unlike like some, I like it less each time that I watch it. And unlike most people, I don't mind Cherry Moon Zombie. I actually think she's decent in like everything that I've seen her in. But this one here, you mentioned Waxworks. So this is the one we got here in North America. This is Waxworks and Waxworks Lost in Time, which each gets their own disc, by the way, even though they share a cover. And you get to choose on the inside. You can either have the Waxworks artwork, or I think on the other side there's the Waxworks 2 artwork. I'm not quite sure. I think it is though. Yeah, or I just take it the disc here. Or you can choose to use the Waxworks 2 artwork. I do like both Waxworks films, so I really enjoyed this set, and I've watched these a few times. The Waxwork 2 one almost looks like it run into its own TV series, so you want to see something that could that they could remake and do it kind of well. You can do like a TV, like kind of a cable TV show, but like not a cable, but you know, like the HBO or something like that, or Shudder can do a show of it. That's Waxworks. Here's one that everybody wanted to see come out, and it was good to see that Vestron made people happy when they did. I have my bags of candy for Halloween. I don't have them yet. I don't have my candy yet. Is Return of the Living Dead 3. I'm a huge Melinda Clark fan. She's gorgeous here. Same as full cover art for the first movie only. So did it only have the first movie on there, or did you get both movies and just showed the full cover art for the first? Kind of curious about that. Because I know that there's a Vestron Video UK label there as well. Now this one she comes back, actually, we hope on Saturday. It all depends on, like, you know, this is the time of year when, like, she's coming back, like, going across on the ferry. And the waters can be kind of rocky and rough. So hopefully she'll be getting back Saturday evening. But yeah, I mean, next up is the last one that I picked up for from Vestron. It's not the last one I'm going to show you, but the last one that I picked up. And I'm a huge fan of this film. I'm a big fan of Ken Russell. And I'm not sure if anybody like really into this one or not. NOAA. What is NOAA? Like, I feel like I should know. So I'm going to slip covers, full cover artwork. Why did they not get the second one? Was that a rights issue? Maybe another company's putting it out. But Lair of the White Worm, I do recommend this one. I love Ken Russell. Of course, the man down who is gorgeous. Peter Capaldi, if you're a Doctor Who fan. He has a prominent role in this film here. Very, very cool film. If you've never seen it, definitely worth checking out. This is, and pun intended, one of the great gate. Actually, I knew you would, actually, Jackman. Are you liking Doctor Who so far? I've only seen the first episode because me and my better half, we watched it together. So I've got the other two queued up to watch for when she gets back next week. So we'll probably watch episode 2, 3, and 4. I'm really interested in seeing the Rosa Parks episode. I want to see how they manage to get a Doctor Who episode out of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So The Gate, and again, I love this film. I've watched this one several times, and I've gotten like people into this that have never watched it. My kids were like really amazed with this one here. My better half actually really liked this film. Alfred Hitchcock's? Am I missing something? Alfred Hitchcock's The Gate. And last but not least, the one I got here is the Wishmaster collection. Oh, yeah, I really want the Taurus, actually. National Oceanic and Atmosphere Administration. Hey, g'day, film schluck. I'm never going to get an Australian accent, but no, I'm going to have to spend like a lot of time down there to even like appropriate one. In the Heat of the Night, I like that. I used to like the TV series as well, but the Heat of the Night, the film, was groundbreakingly amazing. One of the most, the best lines of all time is that line when he's got like a Virgil Tibbs against his car, and he's like he's getting empty his pockets basically. So what do they call you, boy? They call me Mr. Tibbs, and he takes a badge, and such an awesome scene. Wishmaster collection, fun films. So there's 4 of these here. Do you only get the first one, Wishmaster, over there as well? The Criterion Summer Sale. See, is that when now there's a Criterion sale coming up in November. I'm trying to decide what sale to go with. Mr. Tibbs, yeah, and there was actually a sequel film to that too, right? Then I think it was called The Common Mr. Tibbs. Was it called The Common Mr. Tibbs? I feel like there was 2 or 3 films for the In the Heat of the Night, like before it actually became a TV series. But yeah, this one here, Wishmaster collection. I really love the first 2 films, especially with Divoff in them. Andrew Divoff was just amazing as the Wishmaster. So it was the later films were watchable, but they were not of the same quality of the Wishmaster collection, and I really, really like these films. And they do have like some decent features. Like I was really surprised to see that they actually had features on these here. Yeah, true. They won't be out in November. I guess Wishmaster 1 only. You get ripped off, man, over the UK. For me, I'm trying to decide what the next big sale is, because I know whatever it is, it's going to influence my Christmas. It's getting to the point where I'm thinking ahead till Christmas. A lot of the stuff that I'm getting, like obviously I showed you guys the Thing limited edition that when Arrow had their what I consider the best sale of the year by any company was the Arrow sale. Like hands down, the #1 best sale of this year was the Arrow Halloween sale. They really shocked us. Not only did they put out some, was in the Oscars grade, and it should have been, man. Not only did Arrow put out a sale with some great prices, but they wowed us by bringing back some limited editions that we thought were gone for good. That we thought that there was gonna that we'd be searching for eBay and paying big eBay prices for, and they brought back limited editions that had long gone out of print and gave it to us at sale prices. So that's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I can't touch any of my Arrow stuff until the until Christmas. Anything that my better half gets me now is going towards Christmas. So when I say I got to think carefully on the November sale, 44 items, dude. Wow. Did you get the limited editions? Did you get like the Thing? And were you one of the people that got Bird with the Crystal Plumage? Because I almost cried that I missed out on Bird with Crystal Plumage. Man. Because Bird was one of the ones I want. One of my most wanted out of print ones is Phenomenon. I'm a huge fan of the movie Phenomenon, and they put out a really good edition of it. But by the time I'd even like knew about it, it was already gone. Where does Notorious rank my all-time favorite Hitchcock films? It's hard to say. I mean, I really do like Notorious, but it's not in my top. Oh, we chose the same shock treatment? Right on. Because Jessica Harper, man. Jessica Harper. Just like last night, my kitty cat has gone to sleep beside me over there. You should let them know. Sometimes they're pretty good about like seeing if they can help with like the cases and that. I know that's with some people. They've actually sent out replacement cases and that. I have to say, Arrow's pretty good when it comes to like I had one that had a broken case, but I just kind of let it go because I figure I'll get replacement case down the road. But because they got stuff to me, I had my stuff. I think it was in 4 days, somewhere in 4 or 5 days. It was amazingly fast anyway that I received the Arrow stuff. Oh, covers ripped? That sucks. Hope they weren't limited edition ones that the covers ripped on. Hope they're ones that you know that you can kind of replace. If no one comes, oh, yeah, definitely let me know with that type of stuff. With movies like some ones that I missed out on. You realize that's gonna go in my head now. I love Duran Duran. I'm an '80s kid. Duran Duran was like literally is my generation. The View to a Kill, whether you like the movie or not, what an awesome song. And how can you not like the movie? Because it's got Christopher Walken, and Christopher Walken is the man. One of the movies I'm excited about that I'm getting for Christmas that I never thought that I'd get. Well, I didn't think that my better half would pick it out for me. Was The Addiction, by Abel Ferrer. And yeah, excellent. And it's such a cool little like kind of different, unique kind of indie like vampire film. And it's got a Christopher Walken scene. Frankenhooker, want a date? I love that one. Actually, Rich, back in the day, they had the VHS case at the store that I used to frequent, and it had the thing on it. Phenomenon and Bird. Yeah, those are two Action Jackman that I really, I'm not gonna lie, that are really high on my list. I've got Cat, and hey Jay Swim, how's it going, man? And I've got like, and of course I've got Deep Red, Profondo Rosso, but Bird and Phenomenon were two that just I wanted so badly. I'm a huge fan of both of those films. Bird, obviously, that's the one that started it all, and Phenomenon. Actually, I fell in love with that movie, and at the time, not a lot of people liked it. Not a lot of people were talking about it. They used to consider it one of the lesser Argentos, but I really like it, and it's always been one of my favorites. Out of the supernatural ones, always been one of my favorites. It's right up there with Suspiria for me. I know it's sacrilege to say that, but it really is right up there with Suspiria for me. In the in just how influential it was for me. But I love Argento. Like, he's always been a favorite of mine. I grew up on the Italian stuff, on Argento and Martino and stuff like that. Are you going to see the movie tomorrow? Fiancé for our oh, happy early anniversary, by the way, then. And your fiancé is going to see Halloween with you, so that means she's really cool. My better half is going to see it with me. Oh, I remember that movie. You know what? I don't think I was aware that it was him that did it. But I do remember that. I'm a huge Ken Wall fan, actually. Um, I I used to love the Wise Guy. I was a huge fan of Wise Guy. Of course, he wasn't in the last season. Unfortunately, that was not as good. But the first 2 seasons of Wise Guy were like, as Vince Vaughn would say back in the day, it's money, baby. See, my better half does not like horror movies like I do, but she will go to see Halloween with me and stuff. That she's okay with that, and even though she didn't like them, if my cousin hadn't gone with me to see Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw in the drive-in, she actually would have gone to the drive-in and watched those movies with me, and they would have freaked her right out. But because she went and saw Annabelle Creation with me, we went to the drive-in. We sat down. We watched like Baby Driver, and we watched Baby Driver. We watched Spider-Man: Homecoming that night, and the third movie was Annabelle Creation, and we stayed for that one. And we actually both really liked it, which is probably one of the reasons I actually got the Annabelle double like Blu-ray set in the background of that, because it's got a really cool Funko. Yeah, I was a huge fan of like the. And it's really good to have like somebody that likes the horror stuff. Unfortunately, where I'm at, I don't even have like any friends around me that like horror films, so I don't really get to watch them with. Like, I watch them on my own. Major League. I spent a long time since I see Major League, to be honest with you. But yeah, that was one of my topics that I thought about earlier. It was not Major League, but actually Arrow, and stuff that like wants from from different companies. And I was going to ask you guys, and I don't know if it's too late in the video to do this now, or your thoughts on it. But what are some of your like big wants that you don't have? That some that either that are out of print or that you just haven't got around to getting yet. Are there any ones or anything during the Arrow sale that you almost pulled your trigger on, but you didn't quite grab? For me, two of the ones that obviously my biggest ones that were still available were Shock Treatment and The Thing. Those were high on my list, so I knew that I knew I had to grab both of those. I wanted to get like up my Mario Bava collection, so a Kaotiki, I knew that had to come. Drainers from whatever happened to Duran Duran? Are they still around? Like, did they break up? Like, because a lot of these 80s bands, like, they get back together and they're still making music, and I'm totally unaware of it. My cousin actually was at a birthday party or something like that a few years back when he was up in Ontario, and Huey Lewis and the News actually played at that party, which was so awesome. I'm a huge fan of Huey Lewis and the News, and of course Thor and Sports were like two incredible, like, solid albums that I listen to religiously. I probably know the theme, the music, words, every one of their songs. You give them Raising Cain. Did they do a limited edition for Raising Cain? I didn't know that. Was it a steel book, or was it like, did they do one? 13 Criterions. Breakfast Club's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm an 80s kid, and Breakfast Club is like the defining movie for a lot of 80s kids. You love Huey Lewis and the News? It was so cool, like when American Psycho, kind of brought him back into vogue again. But I've always been a big fan. I like, obviously, Hall & Oates. Thank you. Oh, Big Bang Boom. Yeah. I was always a big fan of Hall & Oates. I was kind of upset when they split for a while, because I think John Oates was upset that Daryl Hall was getting all the attention. But yeah, they are still around, the Hall & Oates, I think. I don't know if they've done anything like more recent. I know that a lot of them, there's these 80s, I have like Sirius XM radio. A second disc. Oh, what is the second disc? I got to check that out. I got the Scream Factor edition of Raising Cain. I really like that movie, actually. But like, yeah, Hall & Oates, and like they show up a lot on these, like, I think, and a lot of them do show up on like these 80s cruises. There's these 80s cruises where, like, popular bands from the 80s go on these cruises and have people. Yeah, I was thinking Back to the Future. Oh, yeah. Rich Girl, Hall & Oates. See, that's the thing. There are so many great, like my better half, she's more 70s girl when it comes to music. She's younger than me though. But You can't pick one over the other, so it's a tie. I always wonder like what happened to like some of them. I know that some of them are still doing stuff, like Pat Benatar, who had one of the strongest voices out of any female artist in the '80s. She, you know, she's still doing stuff, but unfortunately, you know, obviously she's not getting the airplay. People like Sheen Easton, I always wonder like where's Sheen Easton now, and like a lot of these people, and they're probably still making stuff that I don't realize. I know that well, I saw this documentary, kind of creepy documentary actually, called I think We're Alone Now, where these fans of Tiffany. You know your music stuff. These fans of Tiffany are like kind of like Joan Jett. Oh, that's hard, because Joan Jett's really, really good. They both have great voices. I would say, honestly, that Pat Benatar has the better, like she's got the more range than Joan Jett has. I was completely in love with Joan Jett. I was completely in love with Pat Benatar too. I was a teenage boy. I was in love with both of them. But yeah, so Pat Benatar has a little, as I would say, it's a bit better range than Joan Jett does. Now they're both fantastic, like singers. They're very different, but and I do love Joan Jett. Ooh, versus Blondie. So Deborah Harry we're going to go with, right? Or we're talking the group in general. I'd still probably have to give it to Pat Benatar. Like Blondie has more, I would say, more songs, more influential songs, and definitely they had a strong influence on music at the time. But Deborah Harry is also the singer that at one point felt that she had to gain weight in order to get a more operatic voice. That's actually a thing, I think. And I think she's an amazing singer, and she can go over with different genres of like music. You know, she's done like kind of like she did like early rap stuff, but for solid singing voice, I'm still gonna have to go with Pat Benatar. It's really close, but for singing, I got to go with Pat. I'm still gonna go with Pat Benatar for the like. That's I like this question actually. It's actually something different for my channel. So I don't get to talk music very often. At one point I wanted to do a series of album reviews, and Heart. I like Heart. I got a story behind Heart, but I can't say it on here. And I plan to do this whole series of album reviews, and I spent a lot of time like listening and researching like Glass Houses. Oh, I love Light of Day. Yes, I do remember Light of Day, and I love that song as well, by the way. I remember the film. I remember going to see it in theater. But yeah, I started to do album reviews. I did one album review for Glass Houses, one of my favorite albums of all time. And I said, okay, I'm planning my next review. And I got really excited, and nobody watched my album review. Like, I don't think like that. One of my lowest watched like videos of like in the recent future was in the near future was like the one I did. I reviewed the Glass Houses album, and I put a ton of work into it. And I said that's the last time I met Billy Joel. I'm a huge Billy Joel fan, Brian. And I said that's the last time I ever do an album review. Is after that, after seeing the how badly received my album review was. But yeah, I'm not bitter at all. But no, I'm a huge Billy Joel fan. My better half, well, she actually had Billy Joel as one of the people at her graduation when she graduated from university. He was there, and I'm super jealous about that because I grew up with Billy Joel's music. You know, it was that was the guy that he spoke to me. Billy Joel's music did, and so did like you got to turn this down. I'm gonna check something, and Piano Man. He had so much good stuff. For me, there was. Oh God, the Rock. You're a big fan of like Oh, I love Elton John. David Bowie, I was so sad. I'm a huge. Now, I don't think anybody's a bigger fan of David Bowie than my better half is, but that was like one that was huge. Yep. 2 years ago, I put out it's still rock and roll to me. Episode 1, Glasshouse's album review. It got 72 views in a span of 2 years. 72 views, guys. You may be right. I remember there's this gum, Brian, when I was a kid, and pre the days of the internet, obviously. It was shaped like a record. It was this bubble gum shaped like a record, and it had different record album covers on it. And on the back of each of the gums, there would be like a song lyrics. 72. You know, I worked my ass off making that video. I was so down like after that one. Very rarely does like views affect me at all when it comes to to making videos. But I thought it was like, this is a genius idea. This could spark a bit of new creativity for me. And I was so down afterwards. Oh, I want to get the John Carpenter Halloween soundtrack, actually. Am I a fan of Deep Purple? Yeah, I mean, da 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 da. Yeah, Smoke on the Water. Yeah. I listen to a lot of music. Surprisingly, I do listen to a lot. You think somebody remembers the bubblegum record things? I was young when those were out, but I actually remember the store that I bought them at too. But I was amazed, like with those things. I loved those little bubblegum records. You know, I'm trying to think what our topic can go from here, and from music to what? To we've talked from everything from Friday the 13th and LeBron James to Halloween. A VHS bubblegum. I kind of remember that. Smoke on the Water is one of those songs that a lot of people... Oh no, the Barks can? No, that's the regular 350 milliliter can. That's usually the first song that a lot of people learn on guitar. It's an easy chord one. I think that was one of the early ones that I learned. I'm not a good guitarist, not at all. I don't even remember chords now, but I did have a guitar back in the day, which I didn't keep up with because I didn't want to be that douchey guy on the guitar at a party. That I very much could have been. Batman theme song, Peter Gunn. Yeah, I remember the Peter Gunn theme song. That's a horrible version of Peter Gunn theme song I just did. But definitely listen to the Peter Gunn theme song. It's very jazzy, very cool. The first thing my cousin had like keyboard, and he's a good keyboardist. And I was trying to learn some. He picked out he got these different books on songs and that. So me being the big TV movie geek that I am, the first song that I learned on keyboard was the theme for Murder, She Wrote. So I could actually play that. And I'd play the theme to Murder, She Wrote all the time because I thought it was super cool. And Hawaii Five-0. But most of the time when me and my cousin were together with his keyboard, he had this Casio first, a smaller Casio thing. And it was not cheap back in the day. Those things were more expensive back then. So he'd tape my voice with the Casio. And because I'm Canadian and blonde, and the inflection of my voice, he'd do the, I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but Max Headroom. He'd do I do these Max Headroom thing. And I'd Cashmere. I remember Cashmere. And we eventually would start to write out exactly. We'd start to write out kind of short sci-fi type plays, which included the character Max Headroom. Oh, thanks, Sculder. Thanks for coming in. And it's great to have you in here. I hope you come back again, and welcome to the movie club, dude. Enjoy your work time, because I know tomorrow I got to go to work. I'm unfortunately not going to enjoy my work time. I love Murder, She Wrote. We actually bought the series last year, the complete series. And we got through like around 6 seasons before my better half just got tired of like, okay, enough Murder, She Wrote. We got through like the first 6 seasons of it. I want to get back and watch more of it, but I got to convince her. Because it does, it does become kind of formulaic after a while. I love the Carol Burnett show. Yeah, I grew up with that stuff. My grandparents used to watch the Carol Burnett show, of course, and they used to watch this show called Mama's Family, which was kind of a spin-off of that. And I wasn't so much into that. I just liked the girl, like the young girl in it. Thank you, Brian. I'm not sure how good it really is, to be totally honest with you. It's just back then I was like super into like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. If I probably look back on it, I'll probably to be completely honest, I'll probably say, yeah, I can see why people didn't watch that. Max Headroom, Back to the Future? I don't think so. Max Headroom was like it was a Canadian actor, but it was like, originally it was like a British like pilot, like series. We did a lot of commercials, Max Headroom. And then it became like a short-lived show on, I think it was ABC. I don't think it's that dated. I think that Murder, She Wrote works because it doesn't go dated, especially for like the earlier episodes. Because with Murder, She Wrote, it is like the drawing room mystery, and that kind of thing is kind of timeless. It's like an Agatha Christie thing. It really is. Sci-fi plays news. I know, but it's like I'm Canadian, and thin and blonde, and balding, just like just like the original Max Headroom. Yeah, I guess I was the right choice to do that. Columbo, I love Columbo too. I got the complete Columbo. I think I completed it now. My Columbo series. I think I was missing one, but I got that one a while back. And Columbo is another show that I think like definitely holds up through the days. I can watch Columbo the same now as I can watch like when I used to watch Murder, She Wrote back in the day. Do I like Dukes of Hazzard? I had fun with Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard was never a great show, but it was a fun show. No, Dukes of Hazzard had a great theme song. Yeah, it had a great theme song, and you got to say that Just a Good Old Boy Never Mean No Harm. But Dukes of Hazzard is something right now that is like, I guess there's a certain aspect of Dukes of Hazzard that has become more problematic in today's political climate, for instance. And I do get that now. When I was young, I just saw a show about dudes riding in a car and bringing moonshine across and getting one up on Boss Hogg. Obviously, I didn't see things in that would make other people uncomfortable because I wasn't familiar with that. But today, like, I do see how certain aspects of it could make, even though it's definitely an innocent show and was never trying that, the contents of the car, I guess in a way it was a bit of a slap in the face for some people. And I didn't get it then. I enjoyed the show for what it was. I still do. I enjoy the show for what it is. So that's my thoughts on Dukes of Hazzard. I don't want to get too crazy into that stuff, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun show. I liked the car. It was around Smokey and Bandit time. I got the DVDs, and I think that's really good. I don't think I need the blue, unless they put out like a bunch of features. I'm good. There's 7 seasons. I really love the 5th season, which didn't have the Duke Boys in at all. Of that Coy and Vance, which was their cousins, because they're like, we're standing up for our money. We need money. We can't be like replaced. Oh, yes, you can. Magnum P.I. Again, I have that complete series. I think Magnum P.I. is one of the underrated shows. I'm very disappointed with the new Magnum P.I. I like the character of Higgins in it, but I'm not so big into the character of Magnum. I think he's good, but I've only seen the first episode, and it was very generic. I don't know if it gets better, but the first episode was extremely generic of the Magnum P.I. reboot. Now, the Magnum P.I. original show, I don't think you can beat that one. It is just great. Just like like watching what's it called? Oh my God, Miami Vice. Miami Vice is it's just a show of its time. Remaking it just isn't going to work, not in the same way. And Miami Vice, so Magnum P.I is the same way. And what really even bothers me more is that this was not the original choice for Magnum. You know who they had originally to play the part of Magnum P.I in the reboot series? Because it wasn't going to be a younger Magnum originally. It was going to be an older Magnum. And it wasn't Tom Selleck though, but it was a really good actor. And it's an actor that a lot of you guys are hopefully should know. It's actually a very good character actor. The original choice to play Magnum that got taken out of it. Oh yeah, they did do a great job with Y5O. I actually really did like that one, and that's one I thought I was going to hate the most. Rich was actually James Remar. James Remar was the original choice to play Magnum, Thomas Magnum in the reboot series. So if you've ever seen the show, like he's done a lot of movies. Now I'm not sure if you've ever seen Black Lightning. He has like a kind of a small but pivotal role on the series Black Lightning as well. But James Remar was originally going to be like an older Magnum. And James Remar is such an incredible like character actor. If you've never seen him, look him up, because you'll know him. As soon as you see him, you'll know him. He's been in so much stuff, and he's such like a powerhouse of an actor that I can just picture like him in that role. He definitely would have put a quiet cool to the series of to a new Magnum P.I. And Remar is one of those guys that just does. He's just cool. And he's an older guy now, and he's been like other stuff, but he just epitomizes cool to me, actually. So even like as the old, like as the Taylor, and he would have been the Magnum that we saw rarely, definitely on the Magnum P.I series, but that you get every once in a while. That, you know, he seems all kind of like fluffy and stuff and funny, but Magnum, when stakes are down, Magnum can get very dark, and nothing illustrates that more than basically really in the UK with the episode where he you know, I think what's it called, was the Sun Sets in Hawaii, something like that, and when he looks at this guy that had put so much hell, and he asks him if he saw the sunset, and if you know the show, then you know what happens. Oh yeah, exactly, the Warriors, that's James Remar. So him as Magnum, just look at a picture of him now and you can see that he could have actually done the role, but they wanted to go younger. They wanted to go with a younger Magnum. And I can see why. Maybe to keep the show lasting, maybe a bit longer, maybe to give it more legs, but then get better writing, because I hope the series is better, because I watched the pilot and it didn't make me want to watch any more of the show. It was about as generic as it can get. And it seemed like, look, here's the setup. I think Higgins was for me was the best part of the show, and I did like the guy that played Magnum. I just thought that it was just a generic story. Y5O, but Y5O started it well, and I swear to God, how many shows did they give the guy from Y5O before this worked? He was one of those guys that the network was definitely banking on. They had him, like, I think he had like a vampire show before that called Midnight or something like that, and there was a show before that they tried him on as like a lead cast member, but finally they got it right. They got him with Y5O, and you saw Terminal Island? Awesomeness, man. I remember Terminal Island, and I think he was in, what's the one, the satanic one? Satan's Women. I can't remember the name of it. So, but I think Scream Factory put it out. And if Brian's still here, he probably knows it. But there's a movie that, like, it has Tom Selleck in it, and it's like, and it's about Satanism. Like, there's like evil Satanists. See, look, you're looking. That's what happens, reality. You look for one show, and you see like, oh my, this show's on Blu-ray. I wonder. And then you see the suggestions down there on like Amazon and Zavvi and places like that. And you're like, oh, I need that. So yesterday I went looking for my Christmas list. I started doing that up. And after the Arrow sale, £85. Ooh, that is a bit pricey. After the Arrow sale, I realized there's a lot of Arrow I don't have that I want in my life. Daughters of Satan. Thank you, Brian. I knew you know that one. And I actually really like that film. I'm not going to lie. I do. It's cheesy fun. It's definitely different. I can't remember who made Daughters of Satan, but it seems like, even though it wasn't made by him, I think it's like the thing like you'd see Ciro Santiago. But because he just has that type of work with him. So yeah, I was doing up my Christmas list because I do it every year. I'll go to Amazon CA and I'll go to Amazon UK, and I'll do up what I want for Christmas, and then I'll go to different companies, and then my better half like can choose from there, kind of surprise me type of thing. So this year, as far as I know right now, I'm going strongly with Arrow. And because there's a lot of Arrow that I realize I'm way behind on a lot of my Arrow releases. So with the recent sale and getting like having the thing and being excited to watch that one, it's being excited to see Shock Treatment, and I'm very excited to see the Bloodthirster trilogy. The A-Team theme's good, and if you're a fan of the A-Team and you're thinking about getting the Blood Island trilogy, then there's a big connection there, because that's John Ashley, of course, from Blood Island. And he's the voice that you hear on the A-Team. He's also the producer of it. Yes, have you never seen it, Brian? It's definitely a fun little film. It's crazy. It doesn't quite go crazy enough like it can, but it's still definitely a decent watch. I almost picked it up not that long ago, actually. Never. It's cheesy. It's cheesy fun. Like there's, don't watch it with Raven. It's because there's like nudity and stuff in it. But it's not like bad or anything like that. It's actually pretty tame, I guess. It's almost without the nudity. Daughters of Satan could almost be TV, with the way I thought it was TV when I originally saw it, when I originally heard of it. But it's not actually, because I think for a while I used to get it mixed up with Satan's, like cheerleaders, something like that. But we'll at least watch it first. Like, it's like there's a couple sequences, but they're never serious. They're like more like, I guess, satanic ritual sequences. So if you know what I mean. So it's not like Black Candles. Don't worry. It's not like showing like somebody Black Candles. Did I ever watch Tour of Duty? I own the complete series of Tour of Duty. Actually, it's a great show. Painted Black, amazing theme song. She doesn't like Tom Selleck movies. You just haven't shown her the right Tom Selleck movie. Hold on a second. Let me think of Tom Selleck movies. I might be with Raven on this one. I like Tom Selleck's Magnum P.I. The Sackets. If she likes westerns, he's good in the Sackets. Her Alibi. Okay, guys, that's Perlina Porskova, right? Her Alibi. Her Mr. Baseball. Okay, you're not mentioning my favorite films here. Oh, Painted Black is the theme song to Tour of Duty, Reality. Yeah, I have the, it's upstairs, but I've got the box set, the big, the one with the different seasons, and like all put together in a case, kind of makes it look like a trunk. How would the China? Runaway. Thank you. Runaway is a really good one. That's the one to show Raven. That's a fun one. That's got like Gene Simmons writes the bad guy, if I remember correctly. That one I do like. Oh yeah, Reality. Then Tour of Duty is actually a really good show, and it's got a great cast too. You compare it with China Beach, like as a and Quigley Down Under. Okay. So there is good Tom Selleck movies out there. I just couldn't remember a single one of them. Are you looking at IMDb? Are you actually remembering these, like legitimately remembering them? Because honestly, when people say Tom Selleck, I'm thinking, well, Magnum P.I. and Friends, and of course the last season of Las Vegas. A little less conversation, a little more action, or as the DVDs would be, Let It Ride, which actually is a really good song too. For replacement songs, Let It Ride is actually a really good replacement song. I saw Three Men and a Baby in a theater. I didn't even think about that one. But when I think Three Men and a Baby, I do think Steve Gutenberg. Put me in a sec. Just yeah, China Beach is a great show. But if you got China Beach and you don't have Tour of Duty, man, get Tour of Duty. That's really, really good. That is definitely one of my favorite shows of that in that genre. Like, hands down, Tour of Duty was amazing. It had an amazing cast. And the star of, what was the accent? Children of the Corn 2, actually. The guy that starred in Children of the Corn 2 actually stars in Tour of Duty. Oh, Three Men and a Baby had Ted Danson, Steve Guttenberg, and Tom Selleck. And of course, the big role for him, I guess, was on, before that, was on the, oh God, what's the name of that show? It's killing me. It was that hospital show. That's right, he was in Coma, too. Did he have a big part in Coma? It's been a long time since I've seen Coma, Brian, to be totally honest with you. But there's a show that's killing me. And I've been trying to think of its name for... Terrence Knox. So he's the guy that stars in Tour of Duty. He was my favorite cast member of it. Three Men and a Little Lady. Well, we can, actually. That wasn't as good. Yeah, the hanging bot. So, yeah, apparently there's this, like... there's this thing where there's, like, a thing in the background, and they thought it was like a hanging... they thought it was like a hanging body. Did he get his start in that show? I'm trying to see if he did. It was an early show. If it did, St. Elsewhere, yeah. So Terrence Knox was a big part of this show called St. Elsewhere. It was like kind of one of the original, like, kind of really big hospital dramas that had a really weird ending back in the day. But his character was kind of interesting. The way he was this really quiet, shy type of character on the series St. Elsewhere, and there was like a serial rapist storyline that was going on at the time, and in a big, like, shock, his character turns out to be the guy that's the spoiler alert for a show that's over 20 years old. He turns out to be the serial rapist, and eventually he dies, and Howie Mandel, who was on the show doing a dramatic role, is like haunted with like nightmares of Terrence Knox's character and how he didn't see it and wasn't able to help his friend from going down the destructive path and dying like he did. And there was a pretty, like, freaky, scary episode of St. Elsewhere that kind of deals with the nightmares that Howie Mandel was having at the time. I'm a fountain of useless knowledge when it comes to TV and movies. Sorry, guys, but yeah, I am. Except when it comes to Tom Selleck movies, apparently, because those I can't remember. Though I probably would have remembered if Tom Selleck would have gotten that Harrison Ford role and acted in that little movie that nobody heard of called Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, yeah. David Caruso impressions? That could be good. Jim Carrey has a new show out now that I have not seen. I think it's on Netflix, called Kidding or something like that. Kind of a dark comedy, because Jim Carrey has gone very dark. When you think of like a comedian that could go over and do horror, much like Robin Williams did when he did like 1 Hour Photo, Jim Carrey definitely has that feel. Is it really? But I think watching, and this is a movie that I liked that not a lot of people liked, like it really got derided, was a movie called The Cable Guy. And I can see like the reasons that people had issues with it. But The Cable Guy was, to me, is about as black comedy as you can get, and his character is like scary in many ways. And I think that one of the scenes or one of the lines from movies that really affected me, that I remembered and actually shook me for years to come, and still to this day did really affect me, is that sooner or later we gotta turn off the babysitter. And if you've ever seen Cable Guy, you know what that means. It's like the ending of the film, and it's heartbreaking, and it's so true. But it stuck with me, and a lot of that is because I am steeped in media and television, and I had been since I was really young. So sooner or later we got to turn out the babysitter, like, just hit me with like a ton of bricks when I watched that movie. And there's a reason to go back and watch The Cable Guy if you've never seen it. It's a tonally imbalanced film, to say the least. Yeah. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But it's like it's a fantastic little film for what it is, and take it as it is. But that line really sticks to me. It haunted me for like days, and I guess it's haunted me for longer than that. Did you like it today? I know a lot of people didn't like it. I did, and I did think it went too far. Like you just didn't know where it was like it couldn't pick a Valley Girl. I'm a huge fan of Valley Girl because I'm a huge Nick Cage fan. So kind of excited about that. I don't know if I won't. It's not a release one. I won't get that on release. But and I'm a huge Deborah Foreman fan as well, so we got that as well. But I definitely will be picking up Valley Girl because it's a good one, isn't it? It's scary, isn't it? To Sunshine Man, The Moon, Number 23, and Truman Show, your favorites. I love the Truman Show. I hate the fact that they kind of gave away the ending of it. Like when you look at it, like early on. So many films, like you like the posters and the trailers, and they give away the ending of the film. Just like a perfect example of that. Go watch the trailer to Superman 3. You're not going to watch the movie after that. You will have seen pretty much the entirety of what you need to see for Superman 3. The trailer gives away that much of the film. And it's interesting to go back and like see trailers from those days and like see exactly how much was given away like after you've seen the film. Valley Girl definitely is worth getting. It's a fantastic little film. I would like to see, and I'm not sure if anybody else is going to remember this movie or not. I'm definitely steeped in the 80s when I talk about this one here, but there's a movie called Breaking All the Rules. And I know I've got the VHS of it, but I don't know if it's ever been on DVD or Blu-ray. Then you need to see just the trailer, and you've seen the entirety of Superman 3 film schlock. But does anybody here remember a film called Breaking All the Rules? Because it's one that I really liked. I kind of want to see who's starring that. I remember it like shit. Say, you remember it too, Brian? See, did that ever get like a DVD Blu-ray release? I don't think it did. I know like it got like a VHS release back in the day, but I don't remember ever seeing it on DVD or Blu-ray. And it had there was a great soundtrack on Breaking All the Rules too. Let's see. 1985. What was it? Carol Dunn. So, I'll share the poster, guys. This is the poster. It's probably not going to be easy to see. To Breaking All the Rules. So, tell me this is not something you'd pick up. If you're going to pick up Valley Girl, tell me you're not going to pick up Breaking All the Rules if it ever comes out. Oh, really? See. Me either. I always just thought it was like one of those movies that just kind of bypassed. I thought maybe it was the soundtrack, or for some reason that it didn't come out. It's one of those that I keep thinking that Shout Factory will bring out, like with their Shout Factory Select line. It's perfect for that line, or even like see Arrow bring that one out. I just really like to see it come out. See what do they have there for the soundtrack. So there's like managed by Bo Diddley, Kid Blue, Now and Then, Breaking All the Rules, Paul Zaza. Now, if you're a fan of like music, but a Canadian fan, for instance, of Paul Zaza did a lot of music back in the 80s, and he's a Canadian musician. It's Getting Hot in Here. No, not that one. Yeah, that's it. One of the best, hands down. If you collect movies and you don't have it's definitely an underappreciated 80s gem, and you don't have a region-free player, I do recommend like taking the time and the and just saving up money to getting a region-free player. It will change the way that you collect. It'll change the way that you see movies, and you get so many different options available, like open up to you. So a new whole world opens up once you go region-free. Arrow was the company that made me go region-free. I went region-free specifically for Arrow, and it was for Fulci. It was for a Fulci film that I went region-free. And I just had to go from there. Overnight Since Best Frank Zappa album. Worst Frank Zappa appearance? Saturday Night Live. Skip that Frank Zappa appearance. Man, he was not a good host for Saturday Night Live. He was not a good choice. Even in the early days, he was not a good choice for Saturday Night Live. You should just like bypass that and just gave Buck Henry another hosting gig at Saturday Night Live, because Frank Zappa? No, no. People that you think might be good for Saturday Night Live, but is good host. Frank Zappa, because you think he's kind of out there, so he's going to be good for it. Milton Berle, he's comedy, so maybe he's good for it. But both of those were not good Saturday Night Live hosts. Not at all. I'm watching like that stuff since you back in the day. But yeah, I just thought about that when you said Frank Zappa. I just thought about that horrible like train wreck of a Saturday Night Live that he did. But no, never as bad as Steven Seagal. That's just the worst. That's the worst Saturday Night Live ever. But yeah. No, Breaking All the Rules, Valley Girl, definitely is one that I'm trying to think of ones that should come out there. You've been region free since VHS. That is nice. I so wasn't. I would love to have been. I don't even think I knew to get region free at that point. Do I have Clueless? I think I got it on DVD actually. I mean, I'm actually a fan of Clueless. Like that is definitely a 90s kids movie, but full disclosure, I'm an Alicia Silverstone fan. I like, a lot of her stuff that she did back in the day. So Clueless was one of those that kind of stuck with me. I did enjoy it. I remember it had kind of a decent soundtrack, and it was just one of those movies that I liked. Yeah, she still is, man, and that's the thing. She still is. She's like the reason I went and saw Batman and Robin in theater. That Blast from the Past. You're like full of like just kind of different movies there tonight, Brian. You're being like the movie encyclopedia tonight. First was Tom Selleck, now it's Alicia Silverstone stuff. Blast from the Past. I don't think there's any Alicia Silverstone movie. I'm trying to think of ones that I didn't like. She did that one where she was kind of kidnapped, right? Are you talking about the new Murder on the Orient Express or the original? Because the answer is to both of them. Yes, I really enjoyed them both. And I'm excited, like I heard that they're making Death on the Nile. And I am all over that. I am all over seeing Death on the Nile being made. Actually, I don't think I got Blast from the Past. I've seen it, and I remember like renting it back in the Blockbuster day, but I don't think I own it. Well, come on. Did you see the trailers? Even watching the trailers for Batman and Robin, you knew that was not going to be the greatest film. But her in a tight bat leather suit, on there. Are you talking about Angela Lansbury that reminds you of like the Murder on the Orient Express? The original, I guess. Yeah, I like the original. I love the original. I love the remake. I thought that they did their own thing. I thought it was really well done. And probably still to this day, one of my best looking like 4K releases is Murder on the Orient Express. So if you have a 4K player, then I strongly recommend you pick it up. You've never seen it all the way through? It's not that bad. It's bad, but it's not that bad. There's like cool cheesy things about it. Like for instance, you've got like you got Alicia Silverstone. You've got I'm walking through this and getting a paycheck, like George Clooney, who's not even acting. Like forget acting for that. He doesn't even try. And he's such a good actor, and you can tell he's not even trying. George Clooney acted more in Return of the Killer Tomatoes than he did in Batman and Robin. And of course, if you like Alicia, are you also a fan of Reese? Because I also am a fan of Reese Witherspoon. And probably why one of my... Oh. That's the thing, Brian. Clooney is so effortlessly charming that he doesn't have to. But Return the Killer Tomatoes, big breasts of tomatoes go to the beach and take their tops off. That is awesomeness. Remember Bane? Actually, yes, that was played by Jeep Swanson. He was a wrestler. He was in WCW. He's passed on now, but he was like the super cheesy Bane. Carrie Weir is one of those actresses that I enjoy. She's really cute, she's definitely a decent actress. But she gets put into shows so like kind of like, oh, was he really? Yes, that's true. In the MasterCard commercials. I miss bubbly. Bubbly has to make a comeback on my channel. That's way too good a drink. And I do mean that in like in the nicest way. Bubbly just is better for my throat when I'm making a video. It works a lot easier for me. But yeah, Reese Witherspoon, Cruel Intentions. I love Cruel Intentions. That is, yeah. That's always been a favorite. Cruel Intentions has always been a favorite. I actually like them all. Yes, I know. Bubbly is like, it's like my guest host, like my permanent guest host, my Ed McMahon of this channel, my Bubbly. It's just, it's not the same as a Bubbly. I'm hoping the viewership doesn't go down when Bubbly's not around. Because you know that can happen sometimes. You lose a key component to your show and that's it. But there we go, guys, at 116 minutes, almost 2 hours long, so almost the length of Rob Zombie's Halloween. But you know, this video, this movie, this trip to the, yeah, here I was. Oh no! Did you get your Brian? Did you get your vinegar syndrome yet? Because mine apparently just left Illinois. That's it. Yes, Film Shock. Contact them and tell them that this is the guy that's putting Bubbly on the map. That Bubbly is in my, it's in my hands and has been talked about on this show constantly. Yeah, I'm still waiting for a vinegar syndrome. They still haven't come in yet. They seem like they're taking a lot longer than normal. Some people got them already. But Brian, Reality, Rich, everybody out there, just thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed this stream. I didn't have a lot of like ideas going in. I just knew that I wanted to talk about Halloween. I wanted to talk about like LeBron James is taking on of Friday the 13th and show my Vestron collection and go from there. And we did that. So I think we went into like some really cool things this time. And tonight, I'll be honest, guys, it really is 120% time for tea. Have a great evening, and I will see you guys next time here in the movie library. I am Aaron. Cheers, Film Schlock. And you guys are awesome. I can never do this without you. Have a great evening.